Hello, 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 and welcome to a brand new episode of the Being Podcast, a safe space that I've created for us to come to each and every week so that we can discuss and share with one another and for us to personally think about and tweak if we need to the ways in which we believe, engage, innovate, navigate, and gain in every area of our lives. I am your host, I am your girl Jada, and welcome. I hope that, so far in 2024, you are starting to look at things maybe a little differently, especially starting with your mindset, because that's where I've been in my first few episodes. But I know that a lot of people across, all the platforms and just in our lives, our friends, right? We're always, hearing different things, reading different things, thinking about different things, and saying, okay, it's a new year. I want to do X, Y, and Z or A, B, and C. And we start getting after it a little bit. And then, February, we kind of slow down a little bit. And probably by March, we're moving on to spring breaks and all the things, right? So we're like, what goal, what resolution? Right. And so a lot of that, I think it just stems from habits, right? We all have our own habits. We have just different ways in which we do things. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just may need to tweak it if you need to in order to change the path, change the direction, the trajectory, right? To go where you want it to go. And most of that, if not all of that, I would say starts within our mindset. So if you have not listened, we're not too far in. I say we because we are all up in here together, right? So every Wednesday, I'm dropping new episodes, whether you're listening to me in your ear through, the audio, or if you are catching me on my YouTube channel and seeing my face, we are connected. We are here. So when I talk about we, I'm talking about you and me. And I'm talking about the people that you may share this with, right? So we collectively, we are faced with things. And so I've talked about this, like I said, if you haven't caught up yet, go ahead and catch up. The episodes, excuse me, are not too long. I've already had a couple of guests on. So one I've already dropped, and she dropped some major nuggets for especially us women over 35, just so that we can start really thinking about again what we're doing, tweak some things if we need to for our health. But they're usually pretty short. And so far, I personally have been in this. I want to talk about our mindsets because everything starts there. Everything from what we're saying, what we're doing, how we're acting, and more importantly, I would think how we're reacting to things, because a lot of times we're not necessarily intentionally going after things that may not be best suited for us, but things are going to come. And so then how are we reacting? And so I just really wanted to take some time, like not rushing through everything, because I talk really fast, as you can tell. If you're seeing me with my hands, like I have a lot going on in my life that I enjoy, whether it's my family or, my job. I do enjoy my job. I am soon going to retire from the military. Uncle Sam has been wonderful to me. And then just my personal things, right? My well being, my working out, my drinking more water, all the things. And then my business ventures where I'm coming out and trying to reach and help people. So we are all busy. We're busy, we're doing all the things, and we can get complacent with those habits that I talked about, right? Because we're so used to doing them. Or we can be paralyzed by fear, whether that's fear of failure, fear of success, whatever that looks like for you. Those are the two I use because in my life, that's what it's been like. Oh, I can't fail. And then thoughts of like, what if I do the work and I get to where I want to be? Like, what does that look like, and kind of scary in a way. So sometimes we're stuck. We just stop. We don't take any steps forward because we're just stuck and paralyzed in fear. So there's a lot of things that happen to us, sometimes intentionally, sometimes not, but it all still stems from our mindset. Like, what do we believe? What do we want to see? Who do we want to be? And then how do we, gain the tools and the skills needed to get there so that when those things come up, those, adverse actions come toward us that we are not looking for, we know, okay, let me try this. Let me try that. and then having the confidence to do it, right? And not being like Jada, where it's like, oh my gosh, I failed. Oh, I can't fail. So I'm not going to do anything, or I failed and I'm not going to try again. And I've had moments in my life like that. And now I'm like, we're going to try it. We're going to see, right? What do they say? Fail fast or fail forward. And I always like to use the quote, and I'm not sure if he quoted it or made it up, but I know he used it. Jalen Hurts said, you either win or you learn. And so, in all of these things that I'm trying to get to, it's a matter of what we're thinking, and then therefore how we're speaking and how we're reacting, and all the things, the actions that we're taking. And I want those to be positive, not only for me, but for you too, and then for the people that you influence. But it starts with being able to be resilient. That was the other thing that came up for me today when I was thinking about what do I want to talk about? Like, I'm still in the mindset, but being resilient. If you've been listening, or even just stop and think, okay, we are, quickly already in the third month of the first quarter of fiscal year 24, right? Like, time is waiting for no one. And so it's not that it's too far gone. Like, you can still kind of take a look, or an inventory, an audit, whatever word you want to use, and just say, okay, it's still pretty early. Either one, what did I want to do? What were my goals and my dreams, or that one or two, because we don't want to get overwhelmed and then not do anything. And if you haven't thought about it, think about that now. Like, what is something that you really want to get after in 2024 and beyond? And think, like, okay, what's stopping me from that, right? So we did that exercise where we had like a list of like, what are the things I want to accomplish, and you can start adding to that. Like, what am I really good at? What am I passionate about? What do I believe my purposes are? Or my purpose is, if it's one big thing in this life. And then what are the things that are stopping it? What am I telling myself? What am I listening to? What am I hearing that's stopping me from believing that I can achieve it? And so now we got to move forward. So now it's like, okay, just to get us some momentum going, take a look at, and whether it's on that list or not, or just think of something, even in the last, I don't know, week or month. What are things that you have overcome? What are things that you've accomplished? Did you finish a book? Did you start a workout program and you wanted to work out so many days? And have you been able to stay consistent? I'm using things that I've typically try to do. I'm getting back on my workout, I'll let y'all know how that goes, right? But or for me, like, how consistent was I with drinking my water or reading? Like, whatever that is, that goal that's making you better, and helping you to become the version of yourself that you desire to be. What have you accomplished so far? It doesn't mean that you've arrived, because do we ever really arrive? Probably not. But what are those things that you've said, hey, I did accomplish that? Yes, that did move the needle forward a little bit, because that should start allowing you and your mind to be like, okay, I can do it. I have done it. And now I can add on to that, and I can do more, and I can get to that goal faster, right? So, yes, I talked about what do we do when we're down. I've talked about what do you do when you're up. And now I'm just saying, what do you do to continue the process? What are the things that you are feeding your mind to continue the process? For me, another thing that I have got to get back on, it's just been kind of a crazy, busy few, couple of months for me so far. But I will tell you this, I knew that, hey, by this date, like mid March, I should be able to get some things off of my plate so that I can start getting back into my routines. But something that is important to me that I have not been able to do so far, so I will keep y'all along on the journey with me, is reading. Like, I went through this phase, and it's interesting because as I'm even sharing this with you, I was reading books with my friends so that we could like gain for ourselves, and then talk with each other, and then point out some other nuggets that we got, right? And then receive what they received. And so I kind of slowed down on that when I started doing it on my own. So that is a challenge I have for myself. Like, what are the things that are going to, and this gets to this episode, that you're pouring into yourself, right? That you're pouring in order to grow yourself to reach your goals. So for me, I want to read, and I guess I shouldn't say like I haven't, because I've done a couple of Audible, like books on Audible. And I have been implementing those techniques because they are developmental books for what I want to do and what I'm purposed to do. So I've done that, but I also want to get like a hard copy and like underline and all the things, right? But those are the things that I'm doing to make sure that I am pouring into myself to reach the goal, right? So I know that at my core, I am here in purpose to help other people to achieve their dreams and their goals and their wishes and desires and all those words I love to use, right? That is what my purpose is. But I have to strengthen myself so that I can provide all of that in different ways so that I can help people because we're all different. So that's what I'm doing. So I am just challenging you this week to do the same thing. Like, think of your wins. Like I just said, oh, I have read some stuff and I have been like implementing things. So think of those things that you are achieving, that you have been resilient in, that you were like, okay, yeah, that week threw me a curveball, but I got right back on it and now I'm moving forward. Let's get those because the small steps and the small wins will help us to get the momentum to push us forward so that we continue to do this. But it's still, if you're watching me, you see me, I'm pointing to my head. If you're listening, I am like grabbing my head. It all starts in our minds, it starts there. So what you're reading, what you're watching, who you're surrounding yourselves with, what you're listening to, even in your music or whatnot, or your podcast or your audibles, like all of that is so crucial to your success. So I want you to be feeding yourself and pouring into yourself the things that are going to help you grow. But start with what you've accomplished so that we can get some momentum going. And then please share with me because I would love to celebrate with you. That's something else I told you, I think last episode, I have to work on. And maybe I'll do a poll and see, how do you celebrate yourself? Because that is definitely something that I need to do personally. And I'm challenging you with that as well, which may come later, right? Small steps, small steps. And that will get us to where we need to be. So continue to work on this mindset thing with me, for yourself, for the people who need you. And I'll see you, or I will talk to you next time. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye.